I got that on sale for $800. I bought two of them, 16.
Use them both?
No, I don't know.
You'll be able to tell now whether it works or not.
I think so. It's actually on the stick. Fire this bitch up. Wait. Huh? Okay. I'll do it then.
Sucked it dry?
He'd have pulled that screen.
Tim?
Yeah, Dad, I did. Didn't think you'd get caught, did you?
No, I
That's
swear
right.
I did.
I think you pulled the plug out. You couldn't have pulled that screen because that thing was jammed. It may even jam it up again. Okay, so there was a lot of unnecessary, not so unnecessary work that was done. I can honestly tell you that the gasket on that charge pump was done. You could see where the rust had worked its way under, and it was sucking air through underneath there. But the real culprit was Mr. Tim here.
No.
Okay, so when we got this tractor, I said to Timothy, well, I actually asked the owner of this tractor, hey, did you change the filters? He said, yeah, we changed filters, we changed the oil too. But I'm going to show you the lovely oil. Is oil supposed to look like that? Dad says that looks like calf shit just before the calf is going to die. Right? Tim's sick. He's trying to get me sick. I think I'm going to go get a garlic pizza. Anyway, yeah, so that's what the oil looked like.
Please, I want a garlic pizza.
You want a garlic pizza?
I want a garlic pizza.
Well, go get your own goddamn garlic pizza. Why don't you treat me to pizza for once, you pain in the ass? You're all the time eating for yourself. You never bring me anything. Did you get two of them?
2.5 gallons?
That's a 5-quart. That is 1 1/4 gallons. So anyway, yeah. So the oil in here was atrocious, to say the least. Atrocious. The real problem was the fact that the suction screen. Now I asked Timothy when we got this thing here. I said, hey, pull the suction screen out of that thing and let me know what it looks like.
No, I do remember. I took the damn plug off, but I never got the screen in it.
Yeah, he never. Okay, so all of this problem when I asked you to take it out of there could have been averted if you actually.
The screen wasn't in there.
The screen's in there.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking dripping on fucking oil.
So you see the most. See, this is the amazing thing when you're working with your son. You know, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, kind of a thing. I'm ready to throw wrenches at him. All the work that we did was totally unnecessary. Well, I shouldn't say unnecessary. We found out how easy it was to tear the charge pump off the 6200 John Deere, and that it's okay. But there was a problem with the charge pump. Here, let me go to this charge pump here. There is a wear bushing here. This little guy here, this little white ring. That had popped out of the charge pump, so I don't really feel too bad about taking it apart. But the first thing you want to do when you have a tractor that is not functioning properly with the hydraulics is pull the screen. Not the filter, the screen. The screen is your first defense. If you've ever had a transmission problem, those transmission disc particles go all through the whole system, and they will lay in the rear differential. And for the most part, they'll just stay there if you're on flat land. They really won't go too far. But where this tractor comes from, there's a lot of steep-ass hills. So my thoughts and what do you got? It's right there.
Where?
Okay. My thoughts on this transmission is that those particles are left over from when half of the discs in the transmission were, what's it look like? You on the edge here? You can't tell if you don't wipe it off. And this is the type you have to screw all the way on. So anyway, I think the particles from when the discs delaminated from the shitty oil that was put in this thing, I think they were so contaminated in the system that they actually worked their way out and plugged the screen. It was all really super fine stuff, no big chunky chunks, right? Oh, he's having kittens and pups, this guy. He's like, Mom.
Fuck's sake!
Kittens and pups, man, they're coming out of his ass. Look at this. Oh. Is that a kitten? Is that a kitten or is it a pup?
Shut up.
It's crawling his way out. So anyways, go ahead, take it back off. I want to know.
I can't even get the fucking threads on.
All right, is it on the dipstick? All it's got to be is to
Yes.
the... Okay, so you're at the black spot. Get out of there. Screens. Your screen on a 61, 2, 3, 400 John Deere tractor is right there. Right there. It's a plastic cap. So we'll go ahead and we'll start it up, and all the problems that we did have, you will know, are gone now. Ready? Watch this shit. Hello. The lights are off. Four-wheel drive unit works. Excellent. Look at that. We do have a bad tie rod in there. See that? But yeah, so I'm saying that we've got it straightened out. I'll have to call up Dean and tell him he can come pick up his tractor this week. Okay, so we'll do it. Smile, Tim. We love you. Creeper gear. Power shift. Brakes. Work. Okay. Whoa. Don't run me over. I watched an Indian die doing that. I'd say that's good. I'm going to call up the owner and tell him he can come get his tractor. I'll explain to him what the problem was. There it is. That's a key out of the 8120, but we can leave it in there for now. Alright, there it is, 8120 or 6200 John Deere. Really, not too much really wrong with it. Other than we changed the oil, pulled the charge pump off, replaced that little ring, resealed it because it was sucking some air, and the suction screen in the bottom of the differential was plugged, so we cleaned that out, and that's it, Mr. Tim, right, Mr. Tim?
Except for steering.
What's wrong with steering?
Joints.
Oh, well, there is an issue here, but they have mechanics where they work, or where this thing lives, and right here, these tie rod ends need it. Well, it's actually right here. Look at that. That's terrible. Well, I'll let them know. Anyways, another job well done, right? Good job, Tim. Let's go home. Just for some clarification on the problem with this tractor, because I'm sure there's going to be some people that are a little confused and are going to say, oh, well, you should have did that first. When the tractor came in, I had a sneaking suspicion that that screen was plugged up, and I gave Timothy the job of pulling the screen and seeing if it was clean. And he pulled the plug off, and oil came out, naturally, but he didn't pull the screen. And he told me, yeah, it's clean, oil's coming out of it. Okay. Well, that's why I didn't pull the screen, because when I pulled it in the shop here the other day, I said to Timothy, I said, you pulled that screen out of there, right? And he said, yes, I did, because I was going to pull it right away and see what was in there. But it's good that we didn't pull the screen right away anyhow, because that gasket at the bottom of that was underneath the charge pump was
was just junk. It had rusted through, and it was just a tiny little bit. It must have been sucking just enough air. So when that screen did get a little plugged up, and it was plugged pretty bad, but when that screen plugged up, it just sucked air through the top of that, and no brakes, no transmission, no anything. The screen, now, I know that somebody had told me that, oh, the power quad transmission has its own pump, so it's a bigger problem. Well, the screen being plugged, I believe that the charge pump, or the charge pump for the power quad transmission, was actually pulling air from the top side down, because that's the only way that air could get in, was from there. So that's my thoughts on that, whether the charge pump for the transmission was pulling enough air down through from the top, causing the transmission not to work. Now, I was quite surprised that the transmission did work enough to get me backed up forward and turned around, but you could see that I couldn't steer. I did have enough brakes at that point when I was pulling up into the shop yesterday to get it to steer into a position. Replace the oil, replaced. There's a filter. There's two filters and a screen on that tractor. Clean the screen, clean the sump, change the transmission filter because they didn't do it, and the hydraulic transmission filter, which they did change, I left that one on there because no oil had gone through there, not much anyway, because they claimed, I don't know what kind of oil they put in that poor tractor, but that was some ugly ass shit. But anyways, that's it for today.